boom, ha, a scene from Escride, or Scrido, or Escride, however you say it. You know, I always said Escride growing up. Also, spoilers, if you don't know what Escride is, it takes place where an earthquake happened over in Japan, and now there's powers, and they call the powers alter. Then the people with alter powers are called alter users. They can alter things to make new things, and their abilities are all over the place. Some people can summon mechs, one guy has some magic balls, one guy summons a straight jacket Frieza. They're all over the place, and it takes place on an island called the Lost Ground. And the Lost Ground is split up into two factions. There are the people who live in the city, you know, it's just regular city life, they just do stuff there. There's a faction of alter users who are also cop, and they're called Holy. The whole organization they work for is called Hold, but the division of alter cops is called Holy. The other faction of people is the people who live outside the wall, and they live in like broken down houses and wreckage. They live off the farm, and they live hard lives. They have alter users too, but they're called native alter users. And now Holy's job is to stop alter criminals. So they use people with powers to beat criminals with powers, right? But the main thing that makes you an alter criminal is if you're not a cop, which is that's pretty foolproof, right? Now our hero is Kazuma. He's a native alter user and therefore a criminal, but he's a good guy. He does odd jobs here and there. He tries to make money to take care of him and Kanami. Kanami is this girl that he lives with, and she's always dreaming. That's her thing. Classic Japanese cartoon protagonist. Kazuma loves a good fight, and he just gets into stuff. You know, his catchphrase is more power. If only I had more and more power. That's his thing. Kazuma's alter ability is to summon a robot arm, or his right arm becomes a robot arm, and he gets really good punches. You know, he punches really hard. He punches the ground. He spins a lot. He punches the ground to go flying up into the air. He's smart with it, I guess. Oh yeah, the cool part about his power is that he gets 3 charges that he calls bullets that are even gooder punches. Like his punches are normally really good, these are even gooder. And it always makes for these dramatic scenes where it's like, oh, he used the first 2 shots, he's only got 1 left. Oh, how will our hero manage? It gets hyped. Now the scene in question takes place in episode 9. At this point in the show, Kazuma, he's gotten his ass kicked a few times here and there, and he's been going through some rough times. Kazuma's upset, and he's thinking about ways that he can go get himself some more power. He remembers the time when he was a kid, and one of his friends told him, hey, Kazuma, you know that Alter Forest? The super dangerous place where animals have powers and nobody leaves alive? I heard that there's more power in there. Isn't that crazy? Yeah? And that's enough for Kazuma. So he walks into the altar forest and he starts looking around for more power. I'm lying. He slides down a hill to really get that speed, then punches the ground and he goes flying into the air, and then meteor crashes into the forest. Cause fuck walking, right? And this really, let's piss everything off at once and really get this ball rolling. When he crash lands in there, he goes to all the animals and says, hey guys, I know this is your territory, but I don't want to fight. Really? Cause that's kind of like kicking somebody's door in and be like, I don't want any trouble. Like, no bro, that's not how you do it. But that's how he did it. And that doesn't work. All the animals summoned crazy ass altars and started attacking him. And bam, bam, boom, boom. He starts fighting a bunch of those while heading for the middle of the forest. And the closer he gets to the middle, everything gets crazier. One of them summons a blizzard. He has to fight some robot ground snakes. It's going until he gets to this bubbly fountain. And the bubbles are like pure. They're all gathering over to this mysterious figure that shoots a beam at Kazuma. Boom! And shoots a beam at him. And then it makes this huge crater. Everything gets messed up. Ugh, Kazuma and a bunch of animals get injured. So when these people use their altar power, they kind of like when Kazuma summons his arm, the ground behind him or like a building behind him will disappear and then his arm will form. So they change what's around them into their power. So when this mysterious figure just starts summoning his power, he absorbs some of the animals into himself, killing them because some of them are still alive, and he kills them and makes them into himself. And then when he finishes forming, he's like this tall shadow man with, you know, wavy shadow hair and a red dot in his chest. He's got some kind of skeleton stuff around his body. Kazuma gets upset that he just killed all those animals. So he goes, rah, and he goes to go punch this dude in the chest. Wah! But the punch just kind of phases into his chest slowly, and the shadow man just throws him, wah, and shoots a couple blasts. Pew pew. Kazuma hits the ground, and he goes to get up to keep fighting, but then he thinks, man, why? Like, even if I beat this guy, what does it matter? Well, I don't matter. I have control over nothing. Nothing matters. But then he remembers Kanami and his friends. They are why he needs more powers. Blah, I fight for my friends' fight. Yeah! Time to start anime trying. So he gets up and he says, I didn't come here to get beat. He focuses his thoughts. Whoa, just one more punch. Yeah, that's kind of what he always does. But hey, it gets hyped. He spins. Whoa, he's going, oh, boom. He punches a hole right through the shadow man's chest. Normally, that's it, right? You punch a hole through the bad guy's chest, you back up, you turn your back to him even, and then they fall to their knees and they just die. But not Kazuma, because he's a smart guy, and he says,
your backbone, I'll tear it out.
And then he does it. He rips the shadow man's spine out and laughs like this. Which is not a good guy laugh at all. That is a maniacal ass laugh. He's a crazy person. That's a psycho laugh. But hey, he's a good guy, I promise. Shadow Man knocks Kazuma back really quick. And then the Shadow Man's spine heals up really quick. And then while Kazuma's still holding the spine in his hand, it flashes bright light. And then when we can see again, Kazuma's arm has changed. What? He's got some extra stuff on his face. He did it. He got the more power. Look, he didn't know that, right? He came here looking for more power, sure. But he did not know that ripping that thing's spine out was gonna give him more power. He may have been right in what he did, but that was not that was not the answer. He got lucky. He laughs like a crazy person again and says, I did it. But he's not done, because about 5 seconds after getting his more power, he goes in for more. He's like, I'm just gonna start ripping everything off this dude and get all the more power. So but this time when he goes to get in there, the Shadow Man repels him super easy. He's like, oh, get the hell off me, dog. Quit getting spines off of me. Get on. Whenever Kazuma lands this time, his arm starts to glow again, and then it starts hurting him a bunch. Power at a price. After that, Kazuma leaves the forest, collapses. He meets up with one of his friends. He's like, I did it. I got the more power. The episode ends. That shit, I've just always loved that scene. Me and my friends quote it all the time, like, I'm gonna rip out your spine, bro. It's just so, I laugh. It's so maniacal, man. I could do a bunch of scenes from this show for real. There are two, later on in the show, there are 2 instances where, you know that scene in pretty much everything where the bad guy's losing, so they grab a hostage and like, you better not move or this hostage is gonna get it, Buster. That happens in this show a few times. One of the times they got a person and Kazuma's sitting there and they grab him and they're just like, oh, what are you gonna do? And Kazuma, everybody behind Kazuma puts their weapons down. They're like, Kazuma, stop. And he's like, no. Then he rushes over there and just punches the guy, right? And it happens later in the show. This time it's with Kanami, the girl that's basically his little sister. They got her and everybody's like, oh, you're thinking this time for sure he's gonna put his fist down. He won't. They got Kanami hostage, but doesn't matter. He rushes in there again and stops him. You see, the Kazuma, he knows because he's done the hostage thing before. There's an episode early on where he's surrounded and he's clearly about to lose, so he runs over, grabs a hostage, and then gets out of there. So he knows the method. He can't use his own strategies against them. That magic balls guy I was talking about, he talks about his balls a lot. It makes a lot of funny dialogue.
Impossible! My balls aren't there!
They also just say cool stuff from time to time, the characters. One time one of the characters said,
I have finally found the true essence of culture!
Hell, I want to find that. That sounds great. How do I achieve that? Oh man, I really enjoy this show. I don't know. That's all. I guess that's all I gotta say. So yeah, peace out, love you. See you later.
What's wrong? You can't find your little balls? I've got them right here.